number 7, we are ready to fund. So you signed your final documents, you did your wire, escrow already received it, and now what happens? How long does it take to get my keys, which is really what you care about, right? So once the bank receives the original documents, the funding department will issue a list of conditions to escrow. These are mainly internal conditions, nothing really that you need to worry about. This is really a lot of going back and forth between escrow, the funders, balancing this and that. And at this point, if there's any pending conditions that the underwriting is asking for to fund, this will be the time where they ask for it. So if there was anything that by some exception we were like requesting an exception and say, hey, I know you need this, but we're only missing this one thing, can you make an exception and move that condition to prior to funding, this would be the time that we would have to get those last items necessary. Once all the funding conditions are being met and provided, whether they're from you as the borrower or from escrow or from processing, they do a final verification of employment and they will do a final credit soft pull. So this is very important that you are aware of. They will call your employer the day of funding or the day prior to funding. So you have to make sure that everything stays in place the same. Your job has to be the same and your credit has to be the same. If you went out and bought a new car the last week hoping that because they had already given you an approval they wouldn't notice, that is not going to be the case, because the bank will always run a credit refresh to make sure that nothing has changed. So super important, if you're going through a transaction like this, do not acquire any new debt, any new accounts, unless you check with your mortgage professional and that they tell you that you will be okay. And even at that point, if you acquire something new, they would have already notified escrow or the underwriter so that they include that new debt in your new debt to income ratio. So however, that's in the case that was to happen, which is not going to be your case, because you're going to follow the instructions from your mortgage advisor and not acquire any new debt throughout this process. So once all these escrow conditions have been met and we have all the funding conditions, then the bank sends the wire for the full amount of your loan and escrow receives it. So once escrow and title receive that wire, then the next day escrow can go ahead and record in the county this new transaction. And once it's been recorded, then that is when it's final. This house is yours, you're the new owner, congratulations, and now you get your keys. So these were the 7 easy steps to home ownership. And if you have any questions, then absolutely I'm here to help. And if at this point you want to have a consultation, then I'll be more than happy to be the one to help you throughout this process. Thank you and have a fabulous day.